You don't know Amir and Alex? Yeah, I think you guys.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yes!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our East co-host. Back east, handling all the producing duties today, it's going to be Danny. Sitting to my right, he'll be co-hosting the whole show. Local MMA fighter and expert fight breaker downer, Dan Tom. That's how I told the editorial. I'm starting, we used to go with, he used to fight at Tough Enough. He trains at Extreme Couture. But, dude, he's coming to the forefront as an expert fight breaker downer.
Analyst,
yeah.
I'm going to fit that all in my tax form this year. It's going to be challenging.
And, of course, chilling in our room is Randy from San Francisco, our site coordinator, who had a big hand in today's show.
He did.
What we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking fights, breaking them down, kind of a soft breakdown, honestly, between us three, talking odds and, giving some predictions, maybe throwing out our parlays. And scattered in between, we're going to talk to two guests that are going to come by the studio today. It's fight week, and usually we do well with this. First off will be Max Holloway. He'll be in our studio. We've been wanting to do this for a while, but he was 19 and 20. So he was just off limits until he turned 21. Now I think he's 23 or so, and he's back in town. He's in Vegas, so he's going to stop by the studio. He'll be sitting right here, and we'll talk to him about what's the latest with Jose Aldo. Or in his words, where's Waldo?
I hope he's just like he was when he was on the show.
He has really come out of a shell, man. I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to Max Holloway in studio. And also, through another lead from Randy from San Francisco, Jeremy Stevens. He is going to be stopping by as well. He'll be in a little bit later towards the end of the show. Both will be in studio. It's going to be a fun show. As always, we'll look for your participation on this Facebook chat. If you want to, submit questions there or just chat with us. I try and keep up with it. Sometimes I get distracted. And then at the end of the show, I definitely go in there and just try and answer some questions. So you can always leave them for post-fight. And if you're a SiriusXM Rush 93 listener, of course, you can call in. Anybody can call in. 866-522-2846. Give us your predictions. Give us your thoughts on the latest news. Ryzen took place last night. Ryzen out in Japan. FF3, I think they called it. So we can definitely talk about that because I'm paying the price for that. I actually stayed awake for everything but the final part of King Mo's fight, which sucks because that's the whole reason I stayed awake. But we'll talk about that.
Man.
And of course, UFC 207, the weigh-ins have already taken place. I thought they were happening as we do the show, but Randy actually was there. He said for the first time the public was allowed in to the weigh-ins, to the not-so-public weigh-ins.
70 people, right?
70 people were there. And 70. We do have our title fights are set. Did you at least see that? Because I haven't clicked on yeah, okay.
I think the only person that hasn't weighed in right now is Johnny.
And
boy.
Borg, yeah. Meg just hit the scales, and then I think just Borg and Johnny, they're saying, are the only ones left. Yep.
Yeah, and we can talk about Johnny because he did an interview where you could just tell he was out of it. He was a little bitter, and frankly, when he explained it the way he did, I go, okay, Johnny, I'm kind of feeling you. I'm now starting to believe if weigh-ins are – this one's going to be tough because this is a Friday event. But if the weigh-ins were Thursday, they shouldn't have done that Ultimate Media Day, I think, the day before because a lot of people are in that process of making weight. Make it the day before. Yeah. Now, let's just use the Saturday example because it's a lot easier. From now on, I think most fight cards are on Saturday.
But Christmas threw
on
everything
Saturday,
off.
Right. On Saturday, if you fight on Saturday, you fly in on Tuesday. Have them do media on Wednesday. That gives them Thursday and Friday to kind of start – well, Thursday for sure, your drop, your water drop, when you do start to get a little bit loopy and shit, and then you weigh in on Friday. In this case, the fly-in day was Monday, but they were doing media not Tuesday but Wednesday, which would be the normal Thursday. So I could see what Johnny was saying. Like, you could tell he had some water in front of him, and he knew that if he drank some, he'd feel better, but because he wasn't doing it, that, and now getting the same question over and over. Are you going to make weight and this and that? And, are you close to retirement? And the losing streak, stuff like that. It was just really, really getting on his nerves.
Is there a cartoon character sneezing outside? I mean, this guy sounds like it's coming from Starbucks. That's far away, man.
It's probably somebody out here because we got football games going on, right? College football?
There's nothing going on. He's sneezing. He's going, chew. That's the noise you guys are hearing.
Really? Okay.
Johnny Hendricks, I love him to death, but he's not the only guy that's going through this, right? Everybody else is. So he's just got to get used to it. It's part of the job.
But you know what I'm saying, right? If you get in on a
they
Tuesday,
can make his life easier.
I think they could do Wednesday, and then, I know that you're right. They all go through it. But the press conference is Thursday, but the press conference is usually some of the main and co-main, and that would leave those guys out of it. But I guess if he was the main or co-main, he'd have to deal with it then.
But it happens everywhere, right? Everybody's had a job where one day they go, guess what? You're staying later, and guess what? You're not getting paid. Like, shit like that happens. You just got to make the adjustments.
He was having a bad day. Yeah, you're right. He was having a bad day, and we can definitely chime in on that because Ariel Helwani, who was kind of next to him, said, hey, man, looks like you can barely stand. Are you all right? And once you kind of start talking about that, trust me, that's a ripple effect. Somehow it gets back to WME, IMG, the UFC. And then those guys start to look out for you. And I was actually thinking, wow, if a doctor pulled him aside and said, hey, man, this guy don't look good, we're pulling him, that could be the end of that fight. I haven't heard that. So I was hoping to hear
not just that fight,
not just did the world champions weigh in. We have world title fights, but yes, Hendricks is already weigh in and get this guy healthy.
Let me play devil's advocate here, though, and let's take Johnny out of the equation for a second because he's kind of had a history. But we've been seeing this as a trend. It's almost a comical trend now. Every time it's fight week, who's going to miss weight or what kind of drama is going to happen on these weigh-ins. How much of the early weigh-in, I'm wondering, is playing a factor because the most important thing, whether you're cutting weight or not, is rest, right, for your performance, for this or that. I mean, hell, even guys like John Morgan who are veterans at covering Fight Week from a media standpoint, you'll even hear him crack on the road show like, we're used to getting to sleep in on Friday. I mean, even the media is used to being able to sleep in on one of the few days as far as the normal obligations. So the fighters who need it, 10 times more, I think what we're seeing, in other words, is it's messing with them. That's why we're seeing all these mishaps. I think, the rest time, having to kind of move the cut times.
You're right.
So, I mean, I'm wondering how much is that just kind of play devil's advocate. I'm not making an excuse for Hendricks, but.
Well, no, actually, a few fighters have actually brought that up, but that's actually not a bad point.
But the thing is, like, how do you fix the situation? Because I feel like no matter how you fix it, whatever plug you put into that hole, they're going to find a way. I don't like to call it cheating, but they'll find a way to cut corners. It doesn't matter what you do. That's just the nature of the sport. You see it in wrestling. You see it in mixed martial arts. You don't see it as much as in boxing because the weight classes are so close to each other.
Right.
But that's just the way it goes down, man. Make the adjustment. Do whatever you want. They're going to find a way to cut corners anyway.
He fought at UFC 200, and at UFC 200 they had early weigh-ins because I remember that's the problem. Remember Misha was having problems? So the early weigh-ins have been around at least long enough that he's already been through the process. What's the solution? Not to steal Dolce's thunder, because I think I've said it as well, but I thought 48 hours would be appropriate. Give them those extra 12 hours. And what happens is you weigh in on Thursday, and then on Friday you come back and do the actual show for everybody in prime time like you're kind of doing now. I think at that point, just remove the scale, or I guess they're casually going on the scale anyway, just announces the weight, but it's more about the face-off. And maybe – maybe start to give the whole main card a quick question. Just one question. Bellator does it, and it doesn't seem to take that much longer. And that way the fans feel like they still have some sort of a show. Or you could make the whole weigh-in on Thursday in front of everyone. What would suck is the people that come in for a weekend, fights are on Saturday, I'm going to get in on Friday. Now you're asking them to take another day off and make it Thursday. But, it's not that many. I don't know what the ratio is of people that fly in to people that are already in the city and they can just go to a weigh-in in primetime.
One of our listeners, I want to say it was either Buffalo Blue or Dante Morgan, had an idea.
Okay, so both were insignificant. But go ahead.
How you could spice up a weigh-in. And they said, with EBI being on Fight Pass and all that, what if part of the allure of going to the weigh-ins is there's going to be a couple grappling matches because there's so many people in town anyways, fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have a couple grappling matches? People sit down, they watch a match, see some weigh-ins. Now people want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
Not a bad idea.
You don't think that'd be fun? I would go.
Who's grappling? UFC fighters?
UFC fighters are grappling.
Oof. Everybody's into getting paid now. And then, God forbid, there's an injury.
Right, you don't have to do UFC fighters, right? I mean, if you have that partnership with EBI, maybe you could do something there.
Some grappling matches.
But I thought about it, and I was like, that might be enough to make me go, you know what, I don't want to watch it on TV. I want to go and check this shit out.
Yeah. If you have an idea, chime in, 866-522-2846. We'd love to hear from you. And, again, we'll be talking when we have these pockets about fights. In fact, let's get one out of the way, guys, because you never know when Mad Max Holloway might walk in, and we'll definitely want to give him some time, and we don't want to run out at the end. So I'm going to pull up bestfightodds.com. I'll quote the odds to the fight, and then we'll talk about the fights and give some predictions. And we'll start with the main fights. That way we make sure that we didn't leave those towards the end and ran out of time. So get your pen and paper out. What I can tell you is, in this case, the consensus will have to be all three of us. If two of us are on one side and one's on the other, it's not a consensus pick. Usually if we have 4 in our panel, and 3 agree and 1 don't, then we are allowing the 3 to be a consensus. But, hello. We'll just go with all 3 of us trying to agree here. We'll scatter in some calls. I already see Joe from Nashville. He's on hold. We'll get to him in just a second. But let's get one fight out of the way, talk to Joe from Nashville, and then we'll continue talking about the latest going on in this wacky sport of mixed martial arts, including Ryzen, where our good friend King Mo dropped the fight to Crow Cop in the main event. Man, that was so sad to wake up to. Anyway, here we go, guys. We're going to talk about – let's talk about old – no, let's leave Johnny Hendricks and Neil Magny off to the side. Let's wait for that weigh-in to come in. I think we'll have more data. John Lineker and T.J. Dillashaw. T.J. Dillashaw, minus 250. John Lineker, plus 195. Goes.
Well, I kind of broke this down the other day, but for me, I just feel like T.J. Dillashaw has to stick to the game plan. That's the most important thing in this fight, because John Lineker is the type of guy that he wants you to get away from that game plan. He wants you to fight his kind of fight. He's a Tasmanian devil, okay? And TJ, he's got to pick his shots. He's got to use that movement. He's got to frustrate John. We've seen John get frustrated in the past. The one little outside factor that sticks out for me is or the MMA
right.
AA. Mm-hmm. We've had Tim Kennedy who fought, right? And Tim Kennedy almost looked distracted in that fight. He just didn't look right, okay? I want to know how much stress has come along, because we all know, Dan, you're surrounded by fighters every day. Even the little bit of stress that can happen can really affect the fighter. And I have to imagine T.J. Dillashaw and this whole association, there's got to be a little stress from that. How did it affect him in his camp? What it did, we don't know. But my pick is going to be T.J. Dillashaw just because I think he's smart enough. I think Dwayne's game plans are very effective. I think he's smart enough to stay away from John's game.
Right. Okay, I'll go next. I'm also going with T.J. Dillashaw. I agree. That's an intangible that I think you shouldn't be carrying on fight week. You know, how impressive do I need to be? Because I need to overshadow anything Caraway does or anybody else, Jimmy Rivera, anybody else that's in the running for those sweepstakes, because he probably feels like he's behind the 8 ball. CAA, he's CAA represented. WME's a rival. That whole thing going on, the MMA, AA, I don't know. But when you just break down the X's and O's, I feel like for example, I thought Dodson had a speed advantage, but he didn't get to exploit it because he got involved in those firefights. And Lineker just seems to have a top-notch chin and power in both hands. And so I feel like if you get in too many of those, you're rolling the dice. I'm not saying TJ doesn't have that. TJ's got power too.
I think they'll have that moment, though.
But I think the one thing TJ has that Lineker will be frustrated with is wrestling, if he can get back to it. Get back to some wrestling, especially early on. Bank around. Because not all TJ Dillashaw fights end with a finish. Bank around is what I'm saying. Wear him down. Get him thinking that, okay, not only can he strike, because TJ's got some movement, he's got some strike, he's got an arsenal, but he can wrestle. Confuse the other guy. And so because Lineker, man, he's so reckless that's what makes him dangerous. Mm-hmm. But I think if you start making him a cerebral fighter, making him think about things, then I think you can hold some advantages. So I think that's what TJ Dillashaw needs to do. I actually think that's what he's going to do. But I think Dwayne Bang Ludwig probably framed it in a way where he didn't hurt his psyche by saying, you don't want to go tit for tat because he's probably the harder hitter of the two and he's probably got the better chin. He probably didn't frame it like that. He just framed it at, let's be smarter than this guy. Let's use your whole arsenal. You went and you wrestled in college. You have these kind of skills. Let's do that. That's what a good coach would do. And I think that's probably what he's done one way or another. And so I think Dillashaw is going to implement that sort of all-around game plan and then maybe go in for a finish if he can hurt Lineker using the techniques that he has. My pick is Dillashaw. Dan?
I think we're kicking off with a consensus, boys. Yeah, I got Dillashaw as well. We all love his striking, and that's kind of this new development of his game, and I do break that down in my breakdown. But the thing is, I don't really think it's going to go there too much. Like both of you were alluding to, you don't want to get in these exchanges with Lineker. It's not even so much his power, it's his chin. Whenever he can get his opponent between the inner black octagon lines and the fence, that's his kill zone. That's when he goes to work. In my breakdown, I compare him to Super Mario when he gets the Star of Invincibility. Like, that's the way Lineker treats himself. That's the way he walks towards with guys with just impunity. But if you go back and look, even all the way back to TJ's fight with Willel Watson after he came off, getting stopped by Dotson, we saw him make those adjustments, and you kind of seen that through him periodically throughout his career. He will fight smart when he needs to. I think we just have that Cruz fight burned in our head, which was close. But anybody who knows Dillashaw's style, you saw it took him a while to get going in that fight. He was a bit emotional. I don't think he's going to carry that emotion here, but like Go said, the emotional intangible kind of lies outside of the cage for this one, right? I mean, I've kind of heard him in interviews talking about worried about repercussions of winning and losing when, you probably should be worried about the fight, but can you blame the guy? It's really, these are human beings too. So that's definitely worth looking out for, but what's also worth looking out for, I think, is the sub prop here. I think I officially went with by decision for Dillashaw, but I think he's going to wrestle Lineker here, even though Lineker doesn't usually turtle out to give his back or do things like that. We've seen him get subbed before, and Dillashaw is really good on top at kind of forcing guys to give their back and kind of persuading them. So I think we might see a late submission here, guys. I got Dillashaw.
Dillashaw. Okay. All right. I'm glad we got one fight out of the way.
He called a shot, too. He threw in that submission.
Yeah. Exactly. Is that like one can pick up some extra odds?
It's actually, you're getting plus 690 right now for a submission prop on 5 times. Yeah, for Dillashaw by submission. So for a guy who's a minus 220 favorite, and I think a decision prop it might have dipped into the favorites, but it's probably in the plus 120, 150 range last time I looked. But yeah, if you feel confident there might be a sub, I definitely put a little fun flyer there, sprinkle.
All right. So I'll tell you what, man. I'm a fan of that guy. You want to just get him on sooner than later? All right. Hey, Max, can we get you on right now? Yeah. All right. Brian, I'll bring you on in just a bit, all right? Okay. All right. So this right here, man, is fucking the reason you need to tune into this sport. Right here. This dude right here. This guy. This is.
What's up, man?
How you doing, man? Good to meet you in person here. So we've had Max on the show many times via the phone, first time in person. When you were first starting to be a G, you were under 21, so we couldn't even have you if we wanted to because the gaming laws. Yeah. But now you're 23, 24?
25.
25. Okay,
yeah.
So that's how long you've been doing it.
Yep.
And now we're good to go. Can you hear us?
Yep, that sounds good. Yep.
All right.
Sounds good, yep.
So, dude, let me just tell you, man, the way you've taken over the sport is incredible. I really give you props. You were a little bit more gun-shy with the smack talk. You were chill, I know you're a Christian kid and all that, but lately that Hawaiian gangsta's been coming out. And not only that, your words are matching the performance.
Oh, man.
And so when we see something like that, that's special, man. And you got age on your side. I don't even feel like you've hit your ceiling yet. So I just want to give you Total props.
Thank you.
And this is coming from a 47-year-old dude, man. I'm a little starstruck right now, just because he's the man, man. He really is. You're supposed to be here at 10:30. You got here early. I go, we're fucking around. Let's get an extra 10 minutes with Max Holloway.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's bring this cat in, man. So I'm a big fan. And I'm not supposed to say it because I'm media, but I'm a fanboy, so I can get away with it. But seriously, happy to have you here.
No, I'm happy to be here, man. You guys, like you guys said, you guys been interviewing me and supporting me for a while. You know, like how you said, I couldn't come down here. I remember that. I think that was for the Obo fight. Who I fight? Leonard Garcia fight. That was in Vegas. I was 10 days notice, and I came in, and you guys wanted me to have on, but you gotta be 21. Ain't that some shit? But it's fun.
He wasn't able to come in here, but with Max Holloway and most Hawaiian fighters, it's difficult because our show starts so early. It's hard to get them to wake up and do the show. But every time we've ever asked him, he's been okay with it. He wakes up early.
He's got them kids, huh? Them kids are tugging on you.
But he does
early,
it.
right?
He does it, man. We gotta give him props.
I love it. No, you guys. People forget they want this big paydays. They want more money. They want to get more famous, but they just think the fighting gonna do it. Is no, fighting is one part, but the other part is media, and reaching out to your fans. So actually, thank you guys for giving me the platform to go put my name out there. So it's all in a nickname, like I always say, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have great people like you guys around and pushing me out in a great way. Some guys. They don't get their fair shake, and some media guys just torture some guys. So I'm glad I'm not getting torched.
I mean, what could anyone say? Fuck, you've been the man for the last 3 years. The 10 fights in a row, I believe you have, and you're out there skinning cats. And think about it, you're calling out Jose Aldo, one of the all-time greats. You're in his head.
Like I said before, the undisputed belt. Yeah, of course I want it, but I'm trying to have the undisputed career ever. I want to leave no what ifs in this guy's minds. In people's minds. I want to be remembered as one of the greatest. And I'm not trying to race through the division. People trying to shortcut. Hey, let me fight Max because I can go ahead and shortcut the title. No, I'm cleaning out the division. I want to clean out the division. So when I get that undisputed title or when I get the real one or whatever. UFC is going to be scratching their head and say, what's next for this guy? We see it next. Like, Dan fought all the top 5 guys already, so what they going to do with me, So if we got to go down from 6 to 15, let's do it, But, when you're the best in the world and you believe it, it's going to show. I work hard, I train hard, and you guys all get to see that come fight night. Every fight night, I make sure I go out there, and if I don't finish you, I make it damn sure the next day you guys writing like, who the hell is next? This guy just made this guy look so easy. So that's always my game plan. I'll prove it. I'll fight anyone, whoever, 155, 145. Your boy is Samoan Hawaiian 170. We can go up there too, so it should be fun.
Wait, who? Samoan Hawaiian? What'd you say?
I'm Samoan Hawaiian.
Oh, okay. All right.
I got room to grow.
I thought you were calling out a Samoan Hawaiian. What?
Oh no.
Who's that? Does Woodley have some Samoan Hawaiian in him? Okay, so we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but I'm in no way saying you can't do it because you've proved me. I've gone through this thing where when I first saw you, I go, okay, that's a tough kid. All right, he's a good fighter. All right, but then I thought after the McGregor fight, well, let's see what direction he's going to go in or whatever. But, man, I'm telling you, you just keep getting better and better and better. And then when I watch you, I can tell you're going to get better. And that's what makes things exciting enough. I know you have the height to get up there to 55. You're going to fill in. Maybe 70 could be a possibility. Yeah. So I ain't doubting that. But let's talk about 45 because that's your focus right now.
Yeah,
right?
hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, that's just off now.
Yep.
We know that.
Yep.
You have to heal yourself. Your manager, Brian Butler.
Talking about Brooklyn, all my Brooklyn fans, I'm sorry, man, but it is what it is. I got hurt, injuries happen, I was sick. We actually had dinner with Dana, and I had to apologize to the guy because I was sad, man. I really wanted to fight, and things happen. I hurt my damn freak. I got injured, and then like you said, last 10 wins plus 3 years equals Max Holloway, and it's time to enjoy it.
Right.
It's Max Holidays. You guys want to call me Max Holidays? Go get you guys Max Holidays on too. I'm gonna be out in where is that? Disneyland in
Anaheim,
January 16th. Come on through. Enjoy your holiday with Max Holidays. It's going to be a great one.
That's kind of a tradition, right? You did that last time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that with my son.
And but the fans can come out?
Yeah, come on out.
They're going to take you up on it, man.
Yeah, come on out. Let's have a good time. Let's go churro crazy. I got a love for their churros over there, and Max Holidays is in full effect January 16th. Come through.
But just to be clear, you're picking up the tab or you're not?
Oh, no. You pick up your own tab.
Because people will show up and go, let's go. I'm ready. Whip out that American Express. We know you're making bank now. But, all right. So basically it was emotion that came out when you were talking about 208. Once the body settled in, you realized, okay, I can't run it at 208. Yeah. When can you run it?
We're talking to Dana now. We're trying to figure out. I don't know what Jose's doing. Jose's out there talking that they thought that they found him at Jose Waldo they found him at 209, I think, for the 155 interim title, some stuff. But fans don't bet on it. This guy is like people is like, oh, he accept the fight and blah blah blah, this and that. With me at 208, I'm like, look, guys. He has a better chance of showing up to a soccer game, So the next contract, I'm gonna tell him, put in you're playing a soccer, but you need to make this weight, so he can play, and then he's gonna show up that way, and whatever. So we do that, and it's even when people is giving shit, oh, he took the fight, blah blah blah. He has when he signs a contract, I have a better chance of winning on red or black. Than him showing up to the fight. That guy's like a 50-50 or actually less than showing up to the fight. So everybody giving me shit about that. It is what it is. I show up to every damn fight I ever fought. I never turned down a fight. I never backed away from a fight. And we never had a contract for a fight. It's just in the talks, It's like right. I could go crazy on Doo Ho Choi. I was supposed to fight. I didn't get a contract, so I ain't going to talk shit to that guy. I was supposed to fight Chad Mendes at one time, but we didn't get a contract. Even Frankie. I heard we were supposed to fight Frankie, but we didn't get no contract. But do I talk shit to them? No, because we had no contract, So it's just mind-boggling what that guy's thinking, So I wish nothing but the best. Brazil deserves better. And, Team Blessed MMA welcomes all you Brazilian fans, man. Get on the train now.
Get off the Aldo train and get on the bus train?
Yeah, Waldo's train. Where is your train? Can you guys find the train? Tell them, let me know where the train is when they find them. So my train is easy. I'm here. Come on over.
All right. But so there's a card in Vegas on March 4th or March 9th or something like that.
Around there.
UFC 209. Can you be ready by then? Or are we looking more like in April or May?
Maybe April or May. We see what happens. I still got to talk. We got some outside. We got some business outside of the UFC right now talking. So we got a bunch of business. Business is booming over at Team Blessed MMA.
What kind of business?
It's secret.
Private business?
Yeah, it's private business.
Hawaii business?
Nah, not Hawaii
Aloha
business.
Stadium business?
I wish it was Aloha Stadium business, but we see what happens. But
are you asking for a share of the company too, like Connor? Or
oh
what?
Man, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a magician doesn't show all his cards, So
I like that.
See what happens.
Since the switch in ownership in the UFC, have you had new talks about bringing UFC to Hawaii? Because you're the guy that's going to be carrying that flag.
I've been harassing Dana. Like I said, I just had dinner with Dana the other night. It wasn't even business. We just hanging out, and we talked a little, but we see what happens, And I'm not giving up hope. I think UFC Hawaii should happen, and we just got to get the fans behind them, and we just got to show them that, it's going to be worthwhile going down there.
Regardless of the opponent, would that be the biggest fight of your life?
Oh, that'd be the biggest fight of my life. The next one is always the biggest fight of my life, and Canada, this last one against Pettis, man, they made me feel like a Canadian, man, and it was crazy. We've sold out the damn event, and whatever, the arena, and it was cool, the screams and shouts and feeling love, and I can only imagine what would happen if I was in Hawaii and home, the Hawaiians is crazy, like I said, so I would love to be there. The energy in there would be crazy.
Did you know he broke his hand early too?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I had no idea. He's when you rewatch the fight, yeah, he wasn't throwing it that much, but it happens. I didn't notice. I just thought I went in there, did my thing. We had a plan, and I was executing, and it's just a great night for me. It is what it is. You can't take nothing away from old boy. It's he's a beast. He's a man, and just can't help it. It's my night, and it was Bless's night, so.
Then you came home to that arrival, man, in Waianae. That was awesome.
Oh, man.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, the arrival was cool, man. You know,
surprised?
I was surprised. You know,
Okay.
my brother like texted me like, "Oh, hey, make sure that's one of my friends. He always like films and stuff. We do vlogs. He's like, oh, make sure he's recording around Waianae. People might be holding signs." It's like, okay, cool. I was thinking like maybe like 10 people or something, and then they got this whole flock and army, and everybody wants to take picture, and everybody thanking me. People I never saw in the city ever, and then they come out and tell me hi. So it was good, man. You know, it's I feel love. You know, I feel love from all over Hawaii. You know, I feel love from all over the world. You know, it's the things I work for. I work for all the underdogs, all the guys who's hard working, all the guys who's not supposed to be here. You know, if you got a dream, you can do anything. You know, you go if you got a dream, work hard, sacrifice, put in the time, and no one's gonna stop you. Don't listen to the naysayers.
Got a question here from Facebook. Can
Yeah.
you ask Max if your foot was swollen? I guess he's asking during the fight. Or did you know of that injury at the time?
I didn't even
were you
feel
running
it.
on adrenaline?
Yeah, I was running on adrenaline. I felt it once. I felt my ankle once we was in the back. Like I was limping a little bit. I was like, I'll be fine. And then next day I woke up, and you guys can Google it. You guys go Google what an elephant's foot looked like, and that's what my foot looked like. There's no ankle. It's just boom, straight down. This is a tree. Yeah, it was horrible. But it is what it is, you know. It's these injuries, they come and go, you know, so it's fun.
We're getting word here that Johnny may have missed weight again.
Oh my!
Can you guys confirm that?
I'm looking into it. I haven't seen.
All right.
Is that serious?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 173.5.
0.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out and see if that's the official. I think you get up to a certain time.
You get 1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Actually,
that
not
sounds
1
like
hour.
a lot to shed.
You don't got an hour. You got until whatever the time is, the cutoff. So they give us, I think, they give us 2 hours to weigh in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 9 to 11 or whatever it is, and then you get into that 11 time. You can weigh in as much times as you want before the time is up.
That 30 minutes.
30 minutes left. He's not going to cut 2.5 pounds in 30 minutes. I don't think.
No,
I doubt it.
No,
That ties into another question that somebody in that Facebook group had for you. They wanted to know, with all the weight cutting issues and all that, what is it that makes you be able to make weight? Like, does it just come down to discipline for fighters, or do we need more weight classes? How would you fix it?
Man, you know, I just I don't know. You do more weight classes, then it's gonna have a bunch of titles like crazy, like boxing, you know. So I don't think more weight classes is a problem. Maybe if we take away some weight classes and we do everything go up by 5s, that would be probably more easier for people. But I don't know, because like 55 to 70 is a big jump. But you know, it's like your job is not even fighting. You know, it's like when you think about it, your first thing to actually be able to fight is make the weight. You know, so. You know, if you can't make the weight, then you can't make the weight. And I just think some guys can't make the weight and they're straight lazy. You know, it's like their body just won't allow it. You know, just accept that you're not going to fight at this weight and you're not going to be able to perform at this weight like you want to. So just, you know, figure it out and go up heavier or stay lighter off season or something. I don't know. I just think like a guy like Johnny is just missing weight so much times. I just think his body doesn't want him down there unless he's not being strict on it, you know. But we see, man, you know, everybody keep telling me, oh, you know, fighting this, fighting that. Or, you know, the weight is more important than actually the actual fight, because if you don't make the weight, most of the time you're not going to fight. It's and
you're already starting to give some of the for one, you lose 20%. Yeah. And you rule yourself ineligible for the bonuses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And
so, yeah, right away, that money pool's shrinking, the one that's available to you.
Yeah. So
do you have rough weight cuts? I've never heard of any problems, but behind the scenes, are you like, oh, my God, never again?
No. I have my weight cut's been great, man. And I eat. I don't know. You guys can watch, follow me Fight Week or whatever. Follow me on Instagram. You can see the food I be posting. I be eating a lot, you know, and that's the thing that I trip out. You know, people like starve themselves all fight week or even fight camp. I'm like, you guys need this food in your body to nourish your body and keep it going. You know, what you gonna cut if you have nothing inside of you to cut? So, I eat. You know, it's not getting hard. The cut is getting a little bit longer. Like if like we'd cut weight for like maybe like 2 to 3 hours, like 1 to 2 hours. Now it's like 2 to 3 hours. So it's the cut is just getting longer. I'm not ever like, oh my God, am I gonna miss weight? I'm gonna die. I'm more like, oh my God, I hate this shit. But but I'm not like struggling for it. You know, I know I can make the weight, and
your ass is big too. The way you tower over everyone.
Yeah,
I would think that it is tougher, but I guess you just have incredible metabolism.
Yeah, I gotta give the biggest shout out to Mike Bill's Fire Girls. It's my auntie them to cook all my meals, and then
what's the name again?
Mike Bill's Fire Girls out in Kapolei. They're a little small shack, and they cook all my food. So yeah, shout out to them. They could take real good care of me. My my
food
sponsor.
Good or is it just bullshit?
No, it's good. They make it taste good.
It tastes good. So give me an example of a meal from Mike Beal's Five Grills.
So I can have like maybe garlic chicken. You know, they give me some bison. They give me brown rice. I love carbs. Maybe some sweet potatoes. The Japanese one, the Japan one, purple. It's purple, nice. So it's cool. And they put sauces that that I'm allowed to eat in camp. So I'm not eating plain shit. You know, fight week I'm eating everything plain. I'm with my coaches and they're like making sure everything's clean. So they're like, yeah, just throw chicken on there with nothing, maybe some pepper. I'm like, this is fucking horrible. Who the hell eats this shit?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That food looks good. I've seen his posts on Instagram, bro. Yeah. It looks like super legit, like gourmet, legit, but he's eating it in camp throughout all camp. That's awesome.
It's good, yeah.
Shit.
So, gotta check it out.
He's got it dialed in. All right, we gotta take this break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. We have UFC featherweight Max Holloway here in studio, and we're trying to dissect and see when we can see him in the octagon next. Is it going to be Jose Aldo? Is it going to be someone else? We'll figure it out when we come back after this. Stay close.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. Call your wife and tell her lunch is off. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes.
You like that song, Max?
No, that's all right.
Just all right, huh? All right. Ronda Rousey makes her long-anticipated return to the octagon when she takes on women's bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes at UFC 207 in Las Vegas. And SiriusXM Rush has you covered. Get an in-depth preview of the entire card starting tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern with SiriusXM's UFC 2 locked on SiriusXM Rush 93 after the main event for the post-fight reaction and analysis. Exclusively on your home for combat sports and entertainment. SiriusXM Rush Channel 93 and on your phone with the SiriusXM app. We have Max Holloway in studio. We're going to take some calls right now, and then I'll get to some questions on Facebook. Leland is telling me to shave the beard. Nah, I don't want to. All right, so let's go to Joe in Nashville. He's been waiting the longest. Danny, punch him in, please, because VX is down. What's up, Joe in Nashville?
Hey, guys. I hope you're well. Max, great to hear from you. Fantastic visit. I love how you guys just sit around and it's a hang. This is a great, entertaining work.
We're hanging, man. We're chilling out. Oh, I'm sorry. And I want to welcome to the show Brian Butler, manager extraordinaire to many fighters, including Max Holloway, Felice Herrig, the Lima brothers.
He's one of the good guys.
Do you have both Lima brothers? Just Douglas.
Just Douglas.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, he's a pretty damn good fighter. I'll tell you
good.
that. He's had a lot of champions in the stable before. Carla Esparza, and I'm not sure if Pat Curran's still with you, but
no,
he was with you at one time when he was a world title holder. So he's a quiet storm. He's had world champions, but he doesn't go around telling the whole world I got world champions, and that I respect a lot.
I don't mind. Out with him enough.
Huh? Oh, really? Oh, okay. Is that what it boils down to? So anyway, proceed, Joe, with the call.
So I wanted to hear your reaction to the news that broke yesterday about Goldberg. This is the last show, and I just think, talk about the times they are changing. I mean, rumors out there about Jim Rome potentially replacing him or whatever, but I hope this is the end of an era, because if Rogan follows him out, that's going to make me very sad, and I just hope that one doesn't lead to the other. I think Joe Rogan, as his whole personality and everything, he's the best analyst in professional sports, and I really would hate to lose him. Thanks, boys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Joe, for the call.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I mean, the name that keeps getting thrown around is Jim Rome, and I love Jim Rome, and I think Jim Rome is great at what he does, but calling fights is not what he does.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense to me. A name that stands out there for me that I know that Dana has been friends with before in the past is Max Kellerman. I could see a guy like that maybe coming over, but even then, that's still a tall task. To call fights at that level is very difficult.
He's
to do.
a third man in the booth, right?
Yeah,
He's
you
not
don't
a play-by-play
learn on the
guy.
job. That's not the type of job. The UFC is in a position where you can't be learning on the job.
I
you have
heard
to have
that
experience.
that Mario Lopez might be.
Yeah, and again, he would be more of an analyst. Oh, he would almost be like what Joe Rogan started off as, celebrity who trains. I think he's a boxer, and I think he's also got a martial arts black belt as well.
I think he do jiu-jitsu too.
Is it? Yeah, okay. So I could see that develop if Joe is on his way out. Yeah. But here's a couple things he addressed. So for one, yes, Mike Goldberg, this is his last show, guys. It's also crazy. Joe Silva's last show.
Yeah.
So, times are changing, and the successor, the permanent successor, won't be around till July. So right now I think they're going to truck along with John Anik and maybe some other play-by-play guys that they come around to and bring on board. Apparently Dana's got this dream team he's working on. Those are the rumors. Jim Rome goes. I think Max is something I've heard as well. People have been throwing out the name Mauro Ranallo and some of the others that are out there as well. Who knows? It'll be a big surprise to us. Now, in August is when Joe's contract is up. So Joe's still with us till at least August. If that name matches up, if the successor is someone that Joe maybe can jive with, that might give Joe a new leash. He may stick around for 2 more years. Who knows? But the success of his podcast, the fact that he's committed to his comedy career, it could be that in August that's it too. I don't know. Stuff we just have to ask Joe Rogan at that point.
It has to mesh properly, right? Yeah. Like you see in the NBA, right? You take Kevin Durant, you take Steph Curry, you put them on the same team. It's not just going to work. Yeah. They have to mesh. And Rogan is a different type of character. Right. You have to get a guy that knows they have to learn how to play off each other. Like Mauro and Boss, the way they established that relationship for years.
Talking about that, though, how's old boy in OKC, Westbrook, man?
Yeah, he's tearing it up,
isn't he? He needed to get rid of KD. That was a blessing in disguise.
James Harden from Houston?
I
used to play at Oklahoma.
doing
MVP?
it. Yeah, still doing it.
Are you an NBA guy?
I just became.
You were wearing the major, but it looks like the LA Lakers are the closest to Hawaii.
Yeah,
feel free to join that bandwagon. We're young. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get things going. We got some superstars brewing
but
too.
you got little rats on that team. I don't want to do it.
There's no argument there.
I'm just joking.
You know what? You do have a point. I fucking hate that he did that. I don't know if we'll ever be able to forgive him. But
man,
yeah, you're right.
Horrible stuff.
But think about it. When you want to go to
if
you want to go to a Laker game and you want to convince the family, you go, and guess what? Disneyland's just right around the corner. You can turn it into a big thing. If you want to go see a Raptors game, well, what else can you spend?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Well, we can
still
go throw
early enough.
axes.
We can work on it.
I can tell my
Niagara
5-year-old
Falls.
son, you want to throw an axe, boy? We can go throw axes. It's fun.
Let's talk to Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco?
Marco from Waco, que pasa, vatos? I'm the champ Bless. Hey, I've been looking for Jose Waldo. I can't find him, Bless. I can't find it, dude.
We all been having a hard time. Keep looking. Keep searching. We're going to find. He's going to show up. He's going to show up sooner or later.
I'm looking on the rocks, behind the counter. Can't find the dude. Hey, real quick on Waco, and then a little tangent on Dominic Cruz and Garbrandt. Waco, then we got these outliers I cannot get disciplined.
What'd you do with that belt, by the way? Where's it hanging?
It's actually in the closet.
Yeah, didn't mean much to you,
Yeah,
or you just haven't found the spot for it yet?
It is what it is, It's I'm gonna get like 15 more, so one of the 15 can mean a lot more to me. But it's just the beginning, it didn't even sink in. I was just telling people that it's like, how did this sink in? That you have a UFC title. It didn't sink in yet. It is what it is. It's just the beginning, I got my window of fighting. I got probably like maybe 10 years. I would like to think, maybe more. We see how good we see how good the money is and whatever. But it's just the beginning. I got, when I retire and I'm talking to people or whatever after the 10 to 15 years, then I can sit back and just really let it sink in and talk about my accomplishments. But right now, it's like I said, it's always on to the next one. So it's just there. It's cool. It's pretty. It's heavy. I always wondered. I want to try to hit someone on the head with it, see what happens, like some WWE stuff. But it's crazy, man. It's a blessing. It's good, and my son loves it. So and then my mom's probably gonna steal it. So that's why I had to hide it. But she's watching my house right now, so I had to hide it somewhere. Hopefully she's not listening
gave it away.
to this. Yeah. Hopefully she's not listening to this. Can
you give us something? April, May, and if it's not Aldo, because Aldo's been tagged with Nurmagomedov, possibly Ferguson. So let's just say he does do that. What does Max do? Who's next for him?
We haven't discussed who the opponent is going to be yet, but I mean, it's probably
the Edgar
May-ish.
sweepstakes. Frankie Edgar, is he in the sweepstakes at that point?
Hopefully, it's going to still be
you
Aldo.
You want fresh matchups, right?
Bro, whoever can get it, man. If I said this after the fight. They said, "Oh, if Aldo can fight, what you gonna do?" I'm like, I'm not gonna wait around. I'll defend the interim title fight 10 times if I have to. 10 times. Everybody's like, I'm gonna wait for my shot. You don't believe you're the best in the world, then? I believe I'm the best in the world, and come prove it. You think you're the best in the world, come prove it. And like I said, come see Bless. You want to fight the best? Fight Bless. So come see me.
Okay, but does that sound realistic? What we were saying, if it's not Aldo, because Aldo has been tied to other names. Would Edgar stand out, or is there another name?
I want to fight Edgar. I would love to fight Edgar. I would take that fight in a heartbeat. Former champion, back on his win streak. He fought Aldo, and whatever. If I can go out there and do my thing, do what we do best, and win the fight convincingly, and prove to people. Like I said, I'm not trying to race to the division. I'm trying to clean it out. I'm trying to take everybody out. When it's said and done, and Max Holloway's hanging up his gloves or putting his glove in the middle of the cage, I want everybody to be like, damn.
That'll be
there's
a sad
no what
fucking
ifs.
day, man.
There's
I
no
love
what
watching
ifs.
you
This
fight,
guy,
dude.
this guy was one of the best to ever done it. So that's what I want to do. And if you don't want to challenge yourself, I'm not over here picking and choosing my fights. I've been calling out the Chad Mendes, the Jose Aldos, the Frankie Edgars forever. I've been calling them out, the top 5 guys, every damn time I harass this guy, and we just wasn't getting the fights, Now it's here. I want to fight him even more, It's even more. The storyline's better.
That day that you just talked about, when it's all said and done, have you thought about it? And what weight will Max Holloway be when that happens?
I don't know, To be honest, I didn't think about it because I always just, it's always the next one, the next one, the next one. So we see what happens, and the weight is. like I said, I'm Hawaiian Samoan. I might get over cutting weight. You know, you might see old boy at 205. You know, who knows?
And right now you're at 185.
I'm
180,
like 180, probably 180 right now.
Okay.
But we see what happens. I'm enjoying it.
And then next week, are you gonna try and break your record of 15 churros?
No,
at Disneyland?
no, I'm not gonna break that record. Hell no.
When did you set that record? After the
I
Llamas
set that
fight?
record after the Llamas fight.
Was it Disneyland churros?
Disneyland.
15 churros this guy ate.
Plus one funnel churro cake.
That's over
at
$100
Curryland.
at Disneyland.
That
Churros.
is. One churro is like $4.50,
Yeah.
$4.25.
How much does an outing cost you at Disneyland? Is it just you and your boy, or is it a whole family?
This next one is gonna be me and my boy and his grandma. He wanted to bring his grandma. So.
All right, so your food and tickets and probably the Disneyland hotel. Is it?
I don't know.
For sure sailing over a G?
Yeah, probably. You know, from Hawaii, the tickets already was over, so it is what it is. But
you sailed over a couple G's last night, didn't you?
Shut the hell up. Were
you gambling?
Yeah, I was gambling.
Oh, the Hawaiian. You're Hawaiian. I forgot.
I'm not gonna tell him shit. This motherfucker throw all my freaking dirty laundry out there. You gonna tell him anything else?
I have never seen Max Holloway rattled in the cage, but he got him for 1 second.
You, man. He got
fucking
you.
talking about my weight. You guys talking about how much money I lost? I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Wow, yeah, he got you. What was it, blackjack or football?
No,
or what?
craps, man.
Craps?
Man. Craps kicked my ass.
All right. Well,
But
listen,
hey,
guys.
I got it back on red this morning, so it's all good.
Oh,
We're
he
good
did.
Now.
Did he
We're
really?
good now.
Yeah.
We're good now.
You just went up there and said $2,000 on red?
No, it's a little bit less, but we got.
I had to bet the opposite so that he could win.
Yeah, so that's what we do.
Okay. All right.
Because the one before that, we bet a little bit, and he bet against me, and I lost. I'm like, Brian, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're an asshole. That's pretty much what he is.
Yeah,
First he takes my money from my damn fights. I gotta
hang on
write
a
him a
second.
damn
Hang on a second,
contract.
champ. Can you stick around just 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
10 more minutes? Okay, cool. All right, I don't want to rush through the story.
yeah, for sure.
And we're exiting here this first hour, so I just want to do a proper exit.
No
Because
worries,
I also
man.
want to ask you one or two more things. And,
For sure.
And you guys have been really, really great. So, folks, SiriusXM audience, you're going to get the Fight Club next with Steve Cofield and RJ Clifford. Tune into that show. You're going to love it. They're going to talk mixed martial arts. I'm sure they'll be talking about the weight cutting and everything. The rest of you got to head on over to facebook.com/official MMA Junkie. We'll see you then.
I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna have me some fun. It cost me my very last dime. If I wind up
Max. Is that it?
No, that's the ice cream one. I didn't do that one.
This you?
Might be.
They should be that for Halloween.
Did you get that text graphic I sent you this morning?
Let's see here. You are listening to the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. We got Max Holloway and Brian Butler here in studio. All right, the guys graciously have stayed a few more minutes because I did have a question for both of them.
That's the one.
Brian,
right
I want to ask you first.
Max's Munchies.
The Max Cleat. That's right. Yeah, I saw that in the morning, man. I was rubbing the crust out of my eyes. Look at that.
It says Max's Munchies. That's like perfect.
Hey, dude, that thing says Max's Munchies.
Yeah, look at it. They know what's up. They know what's up.
So Max isn't bullshitting. He ate 15 churros in Disneyland and had a churro funnel cake.
Look how big that is.
And so we're joking around about it. He says he's not going to break his record this time out. But goes,
awesome.
Is there any way you can post that?
If you send
That's
it to
pretty
me,
funny. Yeah.
What is that? Let me see that.
You went on the rides too?
Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you
can.
post it.
You went on the rides too?
Rides? Yeah, we ride rides. Yeah, I want to ride the rides. Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, we saw that. Yeah,
I adjusted it though. I had to update the label. 10 wins.
I'll send this to Goes so that he can check it out. Okay, guys, what I want to ask you is, ever since Max went on this run, but he's also become more vocal, how much easier is it to manage him or fighters like him? I want this to be kind of a lesson to younger fighters coming through that just don't put themselves out there. They don't make predictions. They don't forecast what they want to do, whether it's win a world title or take this guy out of the equation or whatever. Just as a manager, how important is that? How valuable is that? How lucrative is that?
It's really valuable. With Max, it's kind of been slow and steady, and I've been saying that to him the whole time because he didn't like shoot up super fast, but his personality has been developing. But I think first and foremost, his fighting spoke for himself, and then his personality came out afterwards, and then it came out. So much so that his grandmother is upset with him, which we are checking that to make sure that
oh, really?
He cuts back on the cussing a little bit in these interviews.
Yeah, Grandma said she was going to whoop old boy. So
I got him, Grandma. I'm on it.
Yeah, how about you from your end? Have you noticed, is this opening doors for you?
Look, yeah, it's been opening a lot of doors.
And was there a point where you just said, fuck it, I'm
now he's just giving me shit.
He was putting me down. He was like, look. You can't talk because you can't talk. He's like, look, I don't even understand what you're saying right now.
Oh, I do make fun of his English.
So now, now it's kind of whatever. I kind of speak my mind more, I guess it was just the perfect time, slow and steady wins the race, and that's what we're doing, we just, just keep it chugging, and like you said, it's a lot easier, it's, you find out who your true supporters is once you start talking, and you figure out that, hate is just love. Hate is just love. All these guys gonna come over to Team Bless MMA sooner or later.
It's all about timing.
They can come.
If you would have come out like this out of the gates, it wouldn't be the same. Yeah, you know what I mean. So when he's saying I compressed him, I didn't compress him. I was managing him.
Compressed me.
Good records. We've just and I think a lot of people could learn from your blueprint. And to be 0-10, you have to be, 10-0 is nice.
Yeah, it's the thing, it's like I tell everybody's like, oh, this and that, there's only one Conor McGregor, and it is what it is. The way he talks is the way he talks, I can't talk like that, it's just different, it's just different, but you gotta speak up, you gotta speak your mind, and that's just what it is. Then people start fighting in the UFC, 15, one of it, I forget, and I'm like. And then people just remember this 10 seconds. I'm like, I would have did this 10 seconds a long time ago. You guys told me this, It's like, I like doing it,
That was crazy,
So it's crazy. It was fun, It took two to tango, Shout out to Ricardo Lamas,
Right.
He legit, man. He accepted it. So,
what were the words that were uttered? Was it just actions or were there words?
No words. He just kept taunting me. I was like, man. I was like, keep taunting me. So he did, and we did the damn thing.
All right, so I guess this is some of the latest.
That's funny.
Number 1, hashtag Where's Waldo? Max at Blessed MMA, Sucker Punch Entertainment. Mr. Cleanout, the featherweight division represented. I love it. Who came up with that one? You did?
This guy did.
Yeah, I did it.
That's
nice.
cool. Put some respect.
That's funny, man.
some respect on the bottom there.
That's detailed and it's funny. I love it. Put some respect. Where does it say that? Keep away from title
respect.
shot. Give my title shot respect. Holy shit, he went all the way in that.
Yeah,
I changed the whole label.
That's cool.
I really dig that. All right, and just a couple more things. This guy's got a question for you. His name is Ant from New York.
Good.
What's up, Ant? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Max? How
What's
you
up,
doing?
brother? Good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. I mean, I've gone through 36 books already. I still can't find Waldo, man. I don't know where he is, man, but God bless. Good luck for everything you do, man. I just had a couple of quick questions.
Yeah, for sure, man.
One was, quickly, what's the deal, man? I mean, you are the featherweight champion. Looking at the rankings here, man, you've destroyed everybody. There really is nobody. Frankie, I heard, wants to drop down, fight down for the money. I really think, man, you should get the mic, let them know. Let the world know, 155, McGregor, R2, 2 belts. Let's unify them, man. Let's unify this. Because you destroyed everybody, Max. There's nobody left for you, bro. They're really, you hurting these kids, man. It's like one of those seniors beating on the freshmen every day.
Thank you, man.
Every time, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah. That would be good fun, man. You know, that McGregor fight is right there. Yeah, we see what happens. Whatever UFC wants to do, it's you fans that got to get that fight going, you know. If McGregor, I believe if McGregor them team wanted, they would have took it already. So we see what happens. You know, there's first things first. I'm still a 45er, so we get Aldo. You know, we do that thing against Aldo, and then we go from there. You know, I'm ready, man. You know, everybody been asking McGregor too, but my team's waiting. You know, you can go tell his team. You know, go find him too. You know, let us know.
There's a reason he don't run in for that fight, Max. You know what I'm saying, Max? There's a reason he don't want that fight right away. Trying to fight Diaz for the 8th time. I'm just saying, man. And another thing, quickly. Give me 3 names for the parlay for this card on Friday.
Parlay? Ooh, I don't know. What was?
That's gonna be a tough one.
You guys say card. 3 names. Do it.
Okay, here's who I like. Well, shit, no. I gotta be careful. I like Tim Means.
Oh yeah.
I like Tim Means. I also believe I got it right here.
If you believe in Ronda Rousey, you're probably never gonna get her at this price ever again.
That's true. you should go to Ronda Rousey all day. You know, it's crazy for like not seeing her with plus 1,000, whatever it is. You know, that makes you a favorite. -1,000, whatever.
Right. Honestly, I think you have to take an underdog. And I like Nunes. I get the champ, and the other one's having all these intangibles, not doing media, whatever. So I like Nunes. I like Tim Means. And I think I'm going to go with the Italian kid, Marvin Vittori, against Shoeface.
Nice.
Because Shoeface kind of he kind of gasses a little bit. He's tough, man. He'll give you a hell for 7.5 minutes.
There it is.
Then after that, I don't know.
And you guys saying, "Oh boy, it's 20% when you win, bro."
Thanks, Ant, for the call. One more. We got Kyle in Ontario. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man.
Hey, shout out to Max. I was at those fights in Toronto. That was great. I'm sure we can all agree that was one of the best cards we've seen in a long time.
It sure was, man.
Thank you, man.
5 million viewers.
Oh, yeah?
On a repeat on Fox.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick, man. Yeah.
Dana didn't bring that up. He's been gushing about it.
No, he didn't tell me about it.
Oh, no.
Maybe he didn't want to, put some more zeros next to my contract.
Are you up for contract, by the way?
No, we see. We just poking at him. We're just poking at the bird.
How many fights do you have left on your contract?
I have no idea. I'm not.
Luckily, we have your manager.
We're only 2 fights in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But, it'll.
That's why you got a manager. He do your job. Yeah, do your job. What do I pay?
This relationship, man.
Do your job.
All right, continue, Kyle.
Before he does, should we say hi to him?
Yeah,
we should probably say hi.
Hi,
Kyle. Proceed, Kyle.
I guess my question's for all you guys, more Max in particular, just sort of your thoughts on USADA, sort of the effect. Have you guys noticed much of an effect, maybe Max, for you in the culture, sort of behind the scenes, or just sort of any differences? There's all these guys getting popped.
Yeah.
Just what's your thoughts on the layout?
Hey, man. The biggest winner of 2016 is USADA. Get that motherfucker a belt because they clean up the sport.
Out, huh?
They clean up the sport, and I respect that. The thing I don't respect is that people like you taking something, you can already kill me. I could go in there and we have a shot of actually killing each other, and you're taking something to performance enhance and make you better, that you hiring the chance of killing me in there. It's crazy, So I'm all for USADA, man. You know, it is what it is. You know, the marijuana thing is whatever. You know, I don't do that shit. But you know, people getting puffed. I don't. I promise. I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
All right, just checking.
But yeah. But people do that. It is that thing is that. I don't know how that helps you or whatever, this and that, but you know, people who's getting caught for all that masking drugs or performance enhancing stuff, it's like, man, you just must not believe in yourself that you need to take that shit. You know, it's like, go do another sport. You know, go do some uncontact sport. You know, go do swimming or something if you don't want to fight. You know, if you're trying to cheat, go ride your bicycle.
There you go, Kyle. Thank you very much for calling in. All right, my last two questions is, can you share a good street fight story with us?
I'm not a street fighter, you know.
Not now, but when you were younger.
No, even when I was younger,
last night.
I had one street fight in my life.
Hawaiian surf.
They always street fight. Yeah, but I wasn't the street fighter.
Hawaiian street fight with mouthpieces.
Yeah. Oh well, I didn't even fight.
Who doesn't street fight with a mouthpiece?
I didn't even fight. But the story.
You were a
I'll tell you
spectator,
the story.
the referee, or what were you?
This guy throwing out dirty laundry again. Okay, this is what it is. So I just a senior. I just graduated. I was like 140 pounds or whatever. And you know, old boy was going out with one of my cousins. That's more like my sister. I grew up with her. Okay. And he was like he was this big dude, whatever. Played football on the football team. A little bit taller than me, bigger than like 180 to 200 pounds, or whatever. And he
kind of your weight then.
Yeah, but my weight now. not back then. I was a little shit back then, you know. And he was like they was going out, and then they broke up, and he was like sending girls to fight my cousin every day. Like in school, so.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and they was like seniors or whatever, and then I just graduated. And then I got called like 10:30 at night. My uncle telling me, oh, he's like, put on your shoes, put on jersey shorts, and grab your mouthpiece, and hangs up. I'm like, am I really gonna fight 10:30 at night right now? What the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. So he picks me up, grabs me from my house, and we get to the place. I didn't tell him this part. We get to the place, but they would. My uncle told me to try to fight. My uncle is the one that grabbed me and put me in, and he told me to fight him.
Did he stop?
Yeah,
so you checked him. Did
the guys and his parents was like, yeah, they stopped. Yeah, and then he didn't fight me, so it is what it is. But I told him like I just like when that happened, I was like, I don't care if you're John Jones, you walk into my yard to fight me, I'm gonna fight you. I might get my ass beat, but we're gonna fight. You don't fucking disrespect me at your house, you know. I don't care who it is, you know. It's I lost all respect for that dude after that.
When
but
you show up to a street fight with your cornerman,
mouthpiece,
and your mouthpiece.
I thought he was joking when he said mouthpiece.
No, I had my mouthpiece. No, I had my mouthpiece. Yeah,
didn't miss a beat. He's like, oh,
I ain't trying to screw up my grill.
It's like on his nightstand.
Grill. All right, and the other thing I was gonna ask you, I've always been curious. All these collisions you have, what do fans and media undervalue as far as things that hurt? So we know that if someone connects on the jaw, it hurts.
Yeah.
Behind the ear, it hurts. In the nuts, liver shot.
Yeah.
But is there certain things, certain parts of the body that you get hit and you're like, God damn, that one hurt? Like, is checking a kick? Like, what's the part of your body that's kind of hurting after every fight just because?
It has to be like it has to be probably like my legs,
right.
Or even our backs, you know, if we're like against the cage.
Yeah.
Like the cage gets you. Like I'll tell you right now, the cage is no friend. When you're against the cage and whatever, next day you look, you feel like, oh, why is my back so sore? You got scratches from the cage, yeah. So the cage, and I gotta say your legs, yeah. Sometimes legs suck, man, you know. So
I did a seminar once with Vanderlei's coach, Rafael Cordero.
Yeah.
And we were just going through a sequence of Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And so they were like, take it easy on each other or whatever. And all I did was I threw a kick, and they were just talking about blocking it.
Yeah.
And it was very, very the speed. There was no speed involved at all. But when I did it and my foot hit the elbow, I couldn't believe how much that hurt.
Oh, that hurt.
And so now every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, God, that must hurt because you guys are kicking way harder.
Yeah.
And you guys know how to defend, you know.
And your foot has the most bones, the most tiniest bones.
Yeah.
Like it has a lot of bones in your foot. So, yeah, when you land there, yeah, that sucks too. Yeah, I hate, man, people kick with their feet. I give them props, you know. That's I think so. One of the kicks, I think so. I knew when I got injured against what's his name, Anthony, because one of them was a straight kick. It was just all my foot that hit him, and I was like, God damn. Thanks for that.
Your social media or shout out to your fans.
Yep. Hey, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BlessedMMA. Twitch TV. I play games. Come get your ass whooping on UFC 2 or my squad of Rainbow Six is badass. Come see us on PS4 or Xbox, whatever. At Bless MMA on Twitch, and my Snapchat is Max Bless MMA. And yeah, stay up to tuned. And yeah, thank you guys for the love and support. It means a lot. And then this guy probably wants to plug something in and get Instagram famous. I don't know.
You're an idiot. No, nothing really. Other than World Series, I got Jay Kuhn fighting there.
Oh, good.
And World Series coming up this weekend. And then,
are you overnighting it to the fight, or just watching from
TV? Red-eyeing out of here right after the fights to be in New York for that and meet with some people out there. And then obviously Felice and Justin Leday coming up in Houston. And there's more, but I'm drawing a blank. Now I know how you feel when you're trying to thank people after your fights.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to take our commercial.
Even Daredevil can see through all their bullshit. Too bad you can't. Here are Goes and George. Oops. Here are George and Goes.
All right, we're going to continue with our fight breakdown for UFC 207. I do have some unfortunate news. Jeremy Stevens won't be. He is with Dom. They're in the rehydrating process. He just can't seem to break away. He apologizes for not being able to come in. Today's Thursday. I'll still make a shot at it for tomorrow. No promises, but we'll see what we can do. Tomorrow is fight day, and tomorrow we will be joined by Michael Chandler in studio. He'll be co-hosting, and we also have Tim Means. So it's still going to be a fun show one way or another. but Jeremy Stevens will not be on today's show. So, but we got some extended Max Holloway time. Right, he was here 10 minutes early instead of 10 minutes late. That dude's a superstar, man, in the making. Incredible confidence, and he backs it up, man. I'm really, really a huge fan. I tried not to be on the show, but I can't help it. What do you want from me, man? That's just me as a fan, digging it.
Are you kidding me? I'm a Hawaiian analyst, and it makes it really tough for me to stay unbiased because I haven't, picked against him yet. But I'm good about separating bias, and I honestly do it from a martial arts perspective. He really is that great. But like you were saying, George, there's very little to say bad about the guy. He's so amazing, but it almost really makes you put a check as far as not rooting for someone on the media side because he's such an awesome guy. Really, it's hard not to get behind him.
What's one thing goes that you could complain about Max Holloway if you had to now that he's gone?
It is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know if he had more churros at Disneyland or more
it
is what it is here.
Yeah.
And Goes is not a fan of hearing it is what it is, and Max was abusing it.
Yeah. I almost thought you set it up.
How do you say anything to him when he's Max Holloway, for crying out loud?
On one of them?
He's a superstar, so I just said, I'm not going to say nothing. This is too good of a vibe to ruin. Usually I tell fighters, hey, man, Ghost don't like that. You better cut it off. We stop at 3, and we didn't do it this time.
On one of them, he said it and winked. So I'm like, I thought you had set it up.
No, I really didn't.
I was like, because, it is what it is. And he went like that, and I was like, all right. I see where this game is going.
All right, so I'll try and get some comments in on Facebook. Sorry I couldn't get to everything, but
good calls today.
It all happens too fast. Yeah, the calls really came through. So sometimes the calls come through, and the Facebook's tough to track. Sometimes it's the other way around.
Especially days like today. I mean, I was on Twitter. Apparently, Ari Abdulaziz, your guys' buddy, was separating Jeremy Stevens from Cody Garbrandt, apparently, I read. Yeah. So maybe that had something to do with it.
I'm starting to think maybe that might be a reason why.
Yeah. So that's what we heard earlier as well. At the weigh-ins, there was a confrontation between Cody Garbrandt and Jeremy Stevens. But what we didn't know was what kind of details they were. Was it? We heard shouting from the other side of the room.
Well,
so did it get closer? Did we get the full story?
When we were watching the feed, you could hear John Morgan in the background, and so you could hear him saying, wait a minute, I think something's going on back there or something. And he didn't really know much about it, but he was trying to gather information. But that was when the show was getting ready to start. But something happened back there.
All right. The other fights that are happening this weekend, I don't want to run out of time, guys. I'm just going to jump to the main event. Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Ronda Rousey's minus 150. Amanda Nunes is plus 120. Early on, Amanda Nunes money came in. Now it looks like rough versus time. Who do you like in this fight?
This one's tough. I mean, it's one of those things where you really got to try to cut out the narrative, but really that's all there is, right? I mean, when you get to the top of the sport, like a Rousey, and you're gone for a year, and all, you name it, from personal stuff to coaching, personal relationships come in. You got to kind of separate all that and look at the match. So that's what I really try to do for my breakdown. And, when you look at it, Nunes on paper kind of plays into a lot of the things that, would traditionally favor Ronda Rousey as far as aggression and this and that. But when you actually break down Nunes, I think she's pretty underrated. She actually hasn't been rushing in as recklessly as we like to kind of stereotype in our mind. She will throw herself out of position. But she's actually been much better at circling, especially since she's moved to American Top Team. She doesn't have a crisp jab, but she uses a pawing jab to set up her right hand. And although she's not like a counter striker like Holly per se, she has a pretty accurate shot selection and obviously has the power to kind of change that trajectory of the fight. And that's where I kind of run into problems as far as that goes. But where I think the clinch space, doesn't look as promising for Rousey. Like, well, if Rousey gets to the clinch, she's going to get the arm bars done. Not necessarily. Nunes, granted, she's not an accoladed as a judoka, right? She's only a brown belt. She doesn't have the accolades. But you can go back to her Strikeforce fight with Alexis Davis, okay? And Davis wasn't a judo black belt, but she's a jiu-jitsu black belt. And Amanda was clearly trying to stay away from Davis's ground game. Now, Davis eventually grounded her, eventually won. But if you look early, Nunes was super successful. Anytime she would try to get in to get, that kind of cuffing arm over for that head and arm toss that Rousey and a lot of the females like to throw, you would see Nunes immediately thwart that grip. She had that grip awareness back then. She has really good hip awareness in the clinch. When she does, get taken down by fighters like Shevchenko, who's an underrated clinch fighter, by the way.
Underrated grappler, too.
Underrated grappler, by the way. That was more because, Nunes tends to fade, her throwing herself out of position. That wasn't because of a grappling exchange per se. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that I don't think the proper credit is being given to either side. Same with Ronda. But without speculating too much into the mental, you have to look at what behaviors are going to be adjusted. Has she been spending this time developing a long-range striking game? Probably not. Has she spent this time turning herself into a counter fighter? You know, you can be as optimist on her training as you want to be, but probably not, okay? It's going to be about closing the distance still. Nothing's going to change about that from her game, and it's in that where I think she's going to run into some turbulence. And if everything's not screwed in properly, we're going to be able to tell from that first punch. But my pick is Nunes, and I think it's pretty good value. I think she's still plus 140. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm with you. I like Nunes as well. I love her athleticism. I love that she came out and adjusted early to the climate. If you'll recall, about almost 2 weeks ago or something like that, 10 days ago, she had to do a media day.
Mm-hmm.
She bowed out of it, and people thought, oh, she's sick. Will she recover in time? It wasn't that she was sick. It's just that her allergies, the dry desert heat, it doesn't jive with where she's from. She's from Brazil. She's lived in Florida for about 5 years at least, and it's just the climate affects her. She actually attributes that to the times that she's been in Vegas and gassed. I'm not so sure because other fighters have come from the same type of climate and not had those problems. But whatever. What I liked is that she took the criticism, understood it, and every time she's fighting, I'm seeing her manage her energy levels better. So I also have questions on Rousey's endurance. She finished fights so early that it was never really tested. In the Misha fight, she dug deep, but Misha had some moments, if you recall. And in the Holly fight, a lot of people like to say that she was running out of gas there. I just think she took a lot of damage. And in that process, it looked like a fighter that was beaten down and worn down as opposed to someone that's also having her version of endurance problems. Anyway, now let's fast forward to the intangibles of why she doesn't want to do media or anything like that. I appreciate the focus that's there. She wants to block everything else out because she wants to be selfish this one time and focus on this. That actually kind of give her a plus. I was giving her a minus about 2 weeks ago, all the way up until last few days, thinking she's just not mentally there. She's fragile, but whatever. But I think it's just a focus that she wants to have, and that's what Olympians have. That's what elite fighters and world champions have, is that type of focus to block everything else out. There is one change in her camp that hasn't been made public, but it's public enough that I know I can talk about it. She has worked with Ricky Lindell in Las Vegas, so there's a change to her camp. But where it can assist is with wrestling to complement the judo in case she wants. There's just open up more avenues to get the fight to the ground. But where I'm concerned about is in the striking and the striking defense. And I'm not sure that's addressed. This isn't a slight to Lindell, but Lindell is a grappling-based type of coach. So that means more than likely the same principles, the same game plan, offensive game plan will probably be coming from Edmund Tarvidian. And I believe it still won't be enough because even though she hasn't fought in a year, I don't think she also got better in that year. I applaud her physique. She looks great. She looks lean. She looks ready. But I just think there's just too many intangibles. And in that process, in this last year, I think Amanda Nunes got way better than she was, addressed some of her check marks that used to go against her. I think she's at an all-time high with confidence. She comes with a good team, with a deep stable of female fighters there. And so I lean towards Nunes. And I get a little bit of I get some plus money on there because she's the underdog. So I'm on Amanda Nunes for my pick. Goes?
This is going to be a weird breakdown for me because I'm going to go with Ronda, okay? But this is my issue. Amanda Nunes' game, the reason Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey was because of the movement, the length, the way she picked her shot. She was patient. Amanda Nunes almost brings none of that to the table in her game. Her game is basically what Ronda has had success for in the past. So on paper, it looks good for me to take Amanda, but then I start thinking about the stuff that Ronda's going through. And Ronda's had that layoff, and a lot of fighters have had a layoff like that. The difference is, throughout that whole layoff, those are still fighters. Ronda stopped being a fighter for a little bit, okay? She became an actress. She became a television star. I don't know, whatever you want to call her. But at some point, she just stopped being that person that's in the gym every day. And that's the person you need to defeat a champion, right? You can't just walk into a championship fight off a layoff, not really training, It just doesn't add up. But
in fact, can I add something to it? Do you remember when she lost to Holly? I think it was before or right after. I can't remember. She was actually saying she didn't even train judo for a long time because she was so immersed in boxing. So you're right, Goes. It's like so many other facets of MMA get either shelved or not addressed because there's so much of a focus on other stuff that you're right. It could be better that her judo hasn't, if she hasn't worked on it, like hasn't been. Dude, when Koscheck would quite an accomplishment, work at it. Look at, or just for himself, like improving on the.
Okay, and you guys come, man. I just feel like when that fight starts, she's gonna feel like she's at home again, and I think as long as Amanda doesn't have that bullish type fight style in this fight, I think at the end of the day, women's mixed martial arts, I feel good about putting my money there. The one thing that does stand out for me though is, do you remember in the Holly Holm fight, there wasn't really much talk between them. She almost had to create drama. Remember with the fist and how, oh my God, she hit me in the face, I'm so mad, blah, 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 right? Same thing with Amanda here. There hasn't really been much drama, and I think Ronda feeds off of that. I think that drama, though, this time is the fans. I think they're the ones that brought that drive in her. So I think she's going to be a bull, and I think she'll get the win.
I did want to add one other thing.
Go ahead.
Both Holm and Nunes are athletic, and they have good footwork, except they use it differently. But if you'll notice, Holly was able to thwart Ronda's takedown. I think one time she was just a fire hydrant. Remember, she kind of almost bounced off her? What Nunes doesn't have that Holly does is like a thickness or girth or strength, you know? So I hope Amanda doesn't just think that because she's athletic like Holly that she may also have that. I think Holly was just strong. Like, usually Ronda is the one that's kind of like towering over you, stronger than you are, and I think that's another thing just to add to the techniques that Holly developed, underhooks, footwork. I think she was just also strong, and that's why she was able to get out of at least one takedown that I remember. Amanda, I don't know if she's got that type of strength. She's got footwork. Her length helps her because Ronda closing the distance is going to be telegraphed, even if it's just an extra half step. That's what Amanda does have, man. That's, you were saying about that too. She throws. Holy cow, does she covers a lot of ground like that, like Tyron Woodley. So she's in striking distance when you don't even think it, but she's far enough away on a defensive side that Ronda's going to have to really be an explosive. That's why I talked about wrestling. If she were to do a double, you know, because Amanda is just she's really, really good with the spacing. Anyway. Those are our picks. Nunes, Rousey.
You know what's going to be a nightmare for her too, is that lead up to the fight. Every fight that gets announced as the fighters are walking out, when she's in the back, I'm very curious what her coaches have done to. She's going to go from
between rounds in 1 and 2. If things, let's just say there was a 10-9 round. Either way, it's a close fight. I wasn't that impressed with Edmund's coaching between rounds 1 and 2. He was more catering to her psyche versus giving her intel on how she can rally, you know, to win the next round or at least start to turn the fight around. Has that improved? Because coaching is important.
Well, that's the interesting thing. From the coaching thing to even what you said earlier, George, you know, we focus on Nunes fading. Well, Rousey kind of shows propensity to fade too, and with her it's hard because you can't tell if it's a psychological fade or a physical, whereas Nunes, we're all pretty sure it's physical, right?
Right.
And that being said, I think Rousey, I give her a better chance as the fight goes on, no matter what her coach is saying or this or that, because, like, you know, Goz was saying, we're all human, and it can come down to, you know, the day that the fight happens on, but she, even though I'm not as confident as Goz is, he's right. She is a competitor, and those competitive juices, I think if that confidence clicks, which it will, she survives that first round no matter how it went. She goes, oh my God, I'm here. I just survived her best round. I think that competitor is going to come out. I think Rousey does really well in war of attrition type of, you know, if she can turn into that. I actually think she'll do well, even though her sample size, you know, she didn't have the longest, you know, mat time herself. But yeah, I think she'll actually do well the longer this goes, ironically.
If you were to grab all the 35ers and put them on that, remember that show Survivor? I don't think it's around anymore, but
I think it is.
Oh, it still is. Holy cow, they're still chugging along?
Yeah.
The reality show on CBS?
They throw people on an island, don't give them food. Who doesn't want to watch that?
Well, let me tell you something. Ronda would win that show. because she's got that type of inner strength, Dan, where even if she's exhausted, she can dig so deep and pull out, heart and drive and whatever energy she has, she will, she'll put it out there. So you're right. When they do reach a point when there is exhaustion, of the two, I do side with Ronda in that if they had to dig deep, or let's talk about Rocky and Apollo Creed when they both go down.
Every breakdown show goes back to that movie.
They were both fucked up, but one guy managed to get the ropes and just pull himself up.
Yeah,
that's what I say. I think of the two, I think Ronda's got more of that in her. But when you're out, you're out. It didn't matter with Holly Holm; she was out. And if Amanda can get her to that point, it ain't gonna matter what kind of heart you are. But in a close fight, dig deep type fights, John Jones, Alex Gustafsson type fights, if it goes that deep, holy cow, I'll be nervous if Nunes is the last part of my parlay. I'm not disrespecting Ronda in any way. We have to make a choice. I think Nunes, and I think Nunes early, but I do get scared as the fight goes along because Ronda will be clearing mental hurdles that she needs to, I think, and that's what will make her stronger. All right, the next fight is the co-main event, Dominic Cruz and Cody Garbrandt. Dominic Cruz is minus 225. Cody Garbrandt is plus 175. You went first. He went first. Now I'll go first. In this fight, I have really gone back and forth. I was Cruz all day, and then I literally went through about 48 hours, and I think it was the damn countdown show. Joey Odessa always says, don't pay attention to the countdown show. But, guys, it was the countdown show, and I think it's embedded. That fucking kid can box. He throws with a lot of snap, hooks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He recognizes footwork because of his boxing background. He also, a lot of people forget, he didn't just go to Alpha Male and become a guy that can wrestle. He wrestled. So he's got a little bit of a background, probably just as much like George May.
He's deceptive.
Cruz has incredible timing. And I think I actually fell for since Cruz doesn't tend to finish fights, can Cruz actually take 25 minutes of Cody Garbrandt type of power? And I convinced myself that wasn't the case. Then I went back and looked and said, who the fuck's knocked out Cruz? He's only lost once. He avenged that loss twice. But because I'm going to probably do like 3 or 4 parlays, Garbrandt will be in 1 or 2 because of that power. It's close, man. It's really close. But over here, it's more about gun to the head, And if you put a gun to my head and said, we're pulling the trigger if you don't get it right, I'll go with Dominic Cruz. I just think he's hard to hit. He blends his wrestling well with his striking. And more than anything, he doesn't have that type of ego where he doesn't care if he doesn't get the finish or doesn't get the knockout. He puts that to the side. He just wants to win because winning trumps it all. And even though he knows that Garbrandt can hurt him, he's going to make the adjustments and take that away from Garbrandt. He's also going to have championship round experience, and that's something Garbrandt doesn't have. Dominic's also hitting harder than he used to a couple years ago. Michael Bisping, as you can see, also kind of had the same stigma that Cruz did. I'm not going to go so far as to say pillow hands, but it was just more of a volume type puncher with no knockout power or very little knockout power. And I think Cruz is kind of cruising along behind Bisping in that category. I think he's starting to develop it more because I think he's just becoming more refined. So look out for that. I think he can hurt Garbrandt. Nobody is
invincible.
Nobody's invincible. I meant like nobody is impervious to being knocked out. But yeah, anything can happen. I thought he stunned Dillashaw a couple times with the striking. He's put Uriah Faber down with the striking, so it's improving. So anyway, I'm going to go with Dominic Cruz in the end, but this one was really tougher than I thought it was going to be. Early on when the match was made, I was like, come on, it's Cruz all day until someone can prove him wrong. But I think Garbrandt's going to have some really, really good moments in this fight. But I think Cruz will have his arm raised at the end. Who's next?
All right. Guess I'll go. This fight, unlike some of the other fights, this fight's already started, and Dominic's already winning it.
Yeah.
Because it comes down to emotions, okay? Dominic is a cerebral assassin. Aside from not really having very many holes in his physical game, his mental game is on point. And this fight has already started, And Cody's losing it. You could see it. He's losing it in some of these discussions, some of these arguments that he's having back and forth. His head is somewhere else. He's fighting too much on emotion. And so when you compound that with the experience that Dominic Cruz brings, the fact that guys who've trained for Dominic Cruz, fought Dominic Cruz, these are veterans that say, I've never really seen anything like this. He's seen guys like Cody Garbrandt before. I just think there's too many things on this side to not pick Cruz. Now, can Cody come in and hit him with a good shot and put him out? Yeah, that can happen in any fight. But Dominic has proven over and over that it just doesn't happen.
And that's what's going to happen. The day Cruz, Mighty Mouse, probably those two, or maybe even Joanna, the day those guys lose, it's just going to be something that hits us out of nowhere. I don't think it's going to be someone that outfoxes them for 3 or 5 rounds or anything like that. It's just going to be something where they got blindsided. They don't know what hit them. And that's that, because these fighters have embraced striking defense tactics as good as almost anybody out there, especially the first two. Joanna still gets hit from time to time, but Cruz and DJ, it is so hard to just even get a clean shot at them. And in MMA, that's incredible. With 4-ounce gloves, that's incredible, especially against the killers that, have trained to get to that point. DJ almost got a taste of that with Elliott, except more in the submission game. But you just almost have to ride these guys until the very end, until the wheels fall off.
My breakdown's, pretty similar, but I'll state one thing that not a lot of people are talking about as far as puncher's chance. I do believe Garbrandt has more of a puncher's chance than your typical puncher's chance, right? Obviously, I'm picking Cruz here, but the reason why I believe it's less of a chance than people are giving, because a surprising amount of people are on Garbrandt right now, even people that I respect. But the thing is, yes, Cruz gets hit a lot. I think that's the argument for picking Garbrandt. It's Cruz gets hit, and he has a good chin. He hasn't shown to be rocked, and he's consistent and can fight the whole 5 rounds, but he gets hit, and Garbrandt has that fight-changing power. So I get the logic behind that. But the thing is, I think the reason, I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about this, I think the reason why Cruz takes those shots so well is because his eyes are always open. He's got the best economy of movement in the sport, when you're talking about from his, his shifting footwork and whatnot. But even his eyes, his pocket awareness is so good. He knows where the strikes are coming from. So even when they do hit him, he was almost already seeing that. And, they say the shots that you don't see are the ones that hurt you the most. Well, I don't want to say the shots that you do see can't hurt you, but they certainly, I believe, help Cruz the cleanup hitter. That was the thing I was kind of calling for with the Almeida fight, and it kind of came to fruition. It's probably going to be his best bet against Cruz, a guy who's darting in and out. So whether he's coming forward or kind of throwing the hook as a check, that's going to be Garbrandt's best weapon. The check hook from the other side, the right side, that's going to be the thing to watch out for from Dominic Cruz in this fight, though. He likes to kind of open the gate, swing his stance, go from an orthodox to a southpaw, while he'll symbiotically throw that check right hook. And, we've seen him light up Dillashaw repeatedly coming in on that. I think he's going to try to do the same thing when Garbrandt comes in. That being said, it's a dangerous one to play. Usually I'm all about Cruz decision all day, or, if you're 5 dimes or a part of a house that offers a points handicap, consistent guys like a Cruz or Ian Jacek that you were mentioning, GG, those are kind of people you want to look for those prop plays as far as like points handicap goes. The thing that's keeping me away from it from this fight is I think Cruz actually gets to finish late. As is the case, you either get starched by these, the hype is 4 or 5, yeah. Again, very kind of catch wrestling-esque where he comes from, and he knows when to bail at the appropriate times. He never overcommits himself. That's why you never see him getting sweeped. You never see him getting even caught in submissions, and he's going in there with some of the best submission scramblers in the sport.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I mentioned it earlier, but let me just throw it out there. Mirko Cro Cop defeated Muhammad Lawal yesterday around 3:30 a.m. I'm watching the whole card. Every once in a while, kind of dozing, but for the most part, I was in the ball game, man. And I'm watching round 1, and King Mo takes him down, and I thought, okay, he had some actual good ground and pound in there for a while, and I thought, okay, this fight's either going to be a decision or maybe King Mo will get himself some ground and pound, and I just wanted him to advance, not break a hand. And I was like, what? My computer was shut, and I think along the way, man, so then I had to look and find the result, and I was gutted to find out Mirko Cro Cop came back and won the fight. It was an open weight Grand Prix. It was basically a heavyweight versus what should be a middleweight, or what probably would be a 195er if that existed. So props for King Mo for trying to even take the fight, especially on 10 days' notice off his other win. But damn, man, that really was a winnable tournament for him. That would have been an incredible. I know. That Amir Alec Bari looked really good at times, and then Heath Herring almost pulled it out after an 8-year layoff. But Alec Bari he'll advance. Hoovelson at advance. He faced TK. Imagine that. That was a tough one. Valentin Moldavsky defeated Sezman Bayor, so he advances as well. Rin Nakai got a win, and a few others. Let's see here. Andy Sauer lost.
He was like LED lights.
Cruikshank also got a loss up there. Kind of soft in the middle. Did you notice? Cruikshank? Yeah, a few of those guys.
He was doing great in that fight up until then.
Have looked in better shape. But anyway, did you see the whole thing?
I missed a little bit of the middle of the card.
Yeah,
I fell asleep as well. Then I woke up and watched.
How about you, Dan Tom?
Yeah, I passed out. I tried to stay awake, and
guys, because I think maybe not that gentleman. Him a lot of great calls for a lot of great fights. So congratulations to Mike Goldberg. It was an outstanding career in the UFC, and I don't know that he'll be done broadcasting altogether. I guess he's got an extensive hockey background, and maybe he'll dabble back in that.
Yeah, we'll be sitting here a year from now, and maybe then we'll have more of a blueprint of where the UFC is going to be going. But it's definitely going to look and sound different.
We also have the full video of a Dana White scrum, and it's up on our Facebook page. It's up on our website, so check it out. A lot of things were addressed there. Why Ronda's not doing certain media. Is Ari Emanuel and Dana White, are they going to hop over and visit Conor McGregor? Check it all out. We're starting to run out of time, so rather than any last breakdown to a fight, do you want to throw out a parlay or just a certain gut feel you have towards a certain fight, Dan? And, of course, the plug for your website and Twitter at The MMA Analyst.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, follow me at The MM Analyst and mixedmartialanalyst.com, where all my articles, breakdowns, and future works and all that stuff's going to be at. This is a tough card because a lot of the numbers are really even. You've got a lot of high-skilled fighters. So parlays, man, I would stay away. The only two most dependable guys I feel, and they're both going against knockout punchers, is TJ Dillashaw and Dominic Cruz. Especially, even though minus 200 can be a little steep, that's more of a parlay fodder. They're more the safer choices. And props worth looking at. I did, again, the Dillashaw by submission. I got that for plus 690 at 5 times. Means Oliveira doesn't go the distance. If you are part of a house that can allow you to put that as part of your parlays, you're getting that for minus 120. And that is a gunfight where I don't see both men standing by the end of it. So that's a safe one. I also had Magny inside the distance just before any weight cut troubles, but you were getting that at plus 345. I imagine the Magny lines are going to be jumping down now after Johnny Hendricks' weight loss. But those are my recommendations. A little scary.
Party shots?
Yeah, I want to add something to the Means fight. You want to bet Means. And do you want to tell him why?
He means business.
And you want to tell him why else?
Oh, here's the reason. Yeah. Fighters who do MMA Junkie Radio on the day of their fight are 55 and 14. 79% win percentage. We call it junkie karma. Tim Means will be getting some of that junkie karma tomorrow. He'll be on tomorrow's show. So if he can take us to 56 and 14, I believe we'll be at 70 or 80% even. And he's excited about it. He loves coming on the show. It'll just be a phoner. It'll be quick, but he will do the show. And also tomorrow co-hosting the whole show will be Michael Chandler. So it should be some fun times. I want to thank Max Holloway, Brian Butler for stopping by. Dan, thank you very much for co-hosting, doing some breakdowns with us. Always appreciative of your time.
Anytime, guys. Always a pleasure to come on.
All right. And Randy, once again, man, Randy gave us some really, really nice leads there. Sucks that Stevens didn't pan out, but, he accepted he was in, and there's still a chance maybe we can do it tomorrow. Sorry about Jeremy Stevens, folks. But we did get Max Holloway for almost 45 minutes, and that was a ton of fun, and he was great with everybody. So, anyway, for Danny and Randy and Dan and Goes, I'm George. Have a nice day. Keep it locked on MMA Junkie throughout the day for all your information on UFC 207. We'll see you tomorrow, and until then, be champions.
I'm gonna have me some fun.